So let's move on to gaming. I only listed one. I don't know if you only listed one or you had multiple.
I had two, but one of them, it's kind of in that same category. My other one was Marvel Rivals, but at this point, I've only been playing it for like a month. So
yeah, it's fairly new.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I did have Concord on there as well, just because Concord has given me so much entertainment this year.
Yeah, I think Marvel Rivals is kind of a wake up call for Marvel. This is what people want, these characters. So hopefully we'll see more of that in the MCU and other stuff going forward. Of course, that takes time to change, so we'll see.
Yeah. And I think it's also a wake up call for like other developers as well, because the actual people who developed the game NetEase, they do gacha games.
Yeah.
This is like their first like big game in a year where Valorant's doing pretty good. Overwatch is in the worst year of its life, and Concord is Concord, or was Concord.
I think they'll resurrect Concord some way because they put too much money into it to totally kill it. Like I think it'll come back as like some type of free to play whatever.
So that's what people thought, but then they just closed down the studio.
Oh, okay. I haven't been paying attention.
Oh, to it, yeah. The studio that developed it, they closed it down.
Gotcha.
I did hear one thing. So the only episode of Secret Level that I've seen is the Warhammer one, because I have friends who play Warhammer and they wanted me to watch it. I've heard the Concord episode is actually really good, and it's like, where was this in that game?
Secret Level was renewed for season 2. I haven't watched any of it, so that's why it's not on our list. Yeah, I haven't watched it. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get to our games that we have. Balatro, I was hearing about this. I was watching people play it, and I didn't really get it. I was watching people play it, and it was on sale, so I finally bought it for the Switch, and I've been addicted ever since.
I think it's insane. I'd never heard of it. It came out in February of last year.
Yeah. Well, the demo had been bouncing around. I learned about through Vinny Vinesauce and watching him play it. And it's basically you're just playing poker hands and trying to score points. And you get different jokers. There's like, there's a bunch. So definitely over 50. I think it's way more than that.
I think there's one that like lets you skip. And I haven't played it, but I've seen videos on it. I think there's one that like lets you skip a digit in a flush.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's super cool.
Yeah, skip every other number in a flush. You could play a flush with only 4 cards. So there's different jokers do different things. And you'll start finding jokers that work really well together. And so it's a matter of finding out which jokers are going to kind of break the game. And all of a sudden you're like getting numbers that are too big to display. I've put in over 100 hours into it, and I've yet to get the really big numbers. Like I'm still learning the game. And
what I think is hilarious is whenever you were initially telling me about this game, I was like, old uncles telling me about this random game that
person shooters,
random game that he's playing, like, and it's like Game Awards nomination Balatro
Game of the Year. Yeah, what?
I'm like, oh, okay, so people are actually playing this one.
Yeah, it's so addicting. It's like on phones and everything now. You can play it wherever. A lot of fun.
So for me, this was very difficult because I am upset with the company Bungie. I'm upset with Sony because of how they've treated their players. I am talking specific. I'm not talking about the post game. I'm not talking about the episodes. I am just talking about the story of the expansion for the Final Shape. Destiny is a game that's it's a cross between an MMO, Borderlands, and Halo. And so it's been an ongoing story since 2014. And so this is kind of like their Avengers Endgame, which right now we're in phase 4, and guess what? It feels a lot like phase 4 did.
Gotcha.
But this expansion itself was fantastic. And the fact that I will always give bonus points for sticking the landing. Because sticking the landing is so difficult.
Sure.
And so I will always give bonus points for sticking the landing, especially after an ongoing story for 10 years. And that's including like, so you've got Destiny, then it was Dark Below, Taken King, Rise of Iron, Forsaken. Like you had like so many expansions and then so many seasons, because it was 4 seasons per expansion, and there was story in that too. So like you literally had a 10-year long story, and the fact that they pulled it all together at the end is just something that should be commended, despite the fact that the company itself and their business practices are really shady and really crappy. So I had to give it to Final Shape because I've been playing Destiny for 10 years. It was like it was actually the first game that I got on PS4 because I got the PS4 Destiny bundle back in 2014 on vacation. Like that was my what was it? That was my souvenir was a PlayStation 4 while we were on vacation. And so yeah, just purely based on the expansion itself, not taking into account the business practices, not taking into account the post game, which has not been good. The expansion itself, they stuck a 10-year landing when it comes to story. So,
So up next, we got kind of a list of things that did not come out this year, but we kind of missed out on. We kind of discovered this year.
Mm-hmm.
We won't spend a whole lot of time on these, but we just wanted to mention them.
A lot of stuff we've already done extensive reviews on.
Right. So we'll go to the next one. So
for me, I don't know why I put them in this order because
it's fine.
But for me, it's Bone. I had not read Bone before. We're gonna go ahead and just one more soundbite for the year. I love Bone.
We love Bone.
Yeah,
can't get enough Bone.
So we did a 3-part series on this. Check it out. I'll put it in the description. You watched Let Me In.
Yeah, Let Me In. This is actually a movie your dad recommended to me a long time ago. I just never watched it. This is a remake of Let the Right One In, which I think is a Swedish movie.
Yep.
This is about a little boy that doesn't have any friends. His life kind of sucks, and he befriends a girl that's a vampire.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I think that's all you should say, other than saying this is a great film. The remake was directed by the guy who, I think we said, did the Batman, I want to say.
Is this Matt Reeves?
Yeah, it's Matt Reeves. Yeah, I had to give his name.
Of course I've seen this because it's one of my dad's favorites, but dear God, it's Matt Reeves.
Yeah. So it's really well made. Elias Koteas is in it.
Yep.
Casey Jones from the Ninja Turtles movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's great in it.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Yeah, and the guy from Cabin in the Woods, one of the execs, is in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So really good. And then if you go back, I think it was last week, we did 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
So just go back to that episode if you like Terry Gilliam, Bruce Willis, Brad Pitt.
Real quick, go back to Let Me In. Did you see Abigail?
I have not. I told my wife to watch it. She loved it. I haven't watched it yet, though.
Okay.
I'm aware of what it is, though.
Okay.
So we won't give away the twist there, but it's similar genre, kind of.
So next up, we have our Best in Comics, which This one's also weird because, like, talking positive about modern is hard.
Yeah. So I only have one pick, and this is really the only thing I've read. Fantastic Four by Ryan North is fantastic. This is like classic Fantastic Four stories. If you like stories like, yeah, okay, so rolls eyes, like Star Trek Next Generation, where they have to solve a science problem, or Doctor Who, or those types of stories, this is kind of like every issue or two is a complete sci-fi story of them solving a problem.
I bet you would have liked Legends of Tomorrow on CW.
I watched.
Oh, you did? You did
a couple of seasons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the vibe I get from this.
And Ryan North, I've listened to some interviews. He said that he was not a big Fantastic Four fan when he got the book. He was aware of the characters, but he challenged himself to write a sci-fi story every month or every 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And see what he could come up with. And there's some really great stories. He's got really great take on these characters. Doctor Doom's a lot of fun when he shows up. And you're seeing them. I mean, these characters have been around since the 60s. And I'm seeing them use their powers in ways I've never seen them use it before. And it's a lot of fun. Johnny Storm has grown a Fu Manchu because he's undercover. And it's hilarious. And everybody knows it's Johnny Storm, There was I'll spoil this. There was an issue where they're having money issues. So Thing and Human Torch both get jobs at like a convenience store. And they're both trying to be like employee of the month and show up the other one.
That's just that's the movie, Employee of the Month.
And a tabloid reporter shows up saying, like, oh my gosh, Johnny Storm, the heartthrob, is now working at a convenience store. He's dead broke, and he's he's gonna write the story. And Thing gets mad and threatens the guy. He's like, look, that's my best friend, and I die for him, and you shut up. He's the best man in the world, blah, blah. So it shows the tabloid cover, and it says, Thing and Human Torch in relationship. Thing expresses his love for Human Torch. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's I died laughing when I saw that cover.
It's like Seinfeld. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not there's anything wrong with it. Yeah. Very funny book, but very clever. Lots of science. Like if you're watching Star Trek Next Generation, they do a lot of that techno babble over your head. There's a lot of that going on, but a lot of it's based on real science.
Okay.
So you can tell Ryan North is doing his homework. And,
I also respect that because you said that he wasn't a big FF fan. I respect that because you've also got a certain creator who was on a certain book for too long. Okay, so Dan Slott was on Spider-Man for too long, and he's always been a self-proclaimed biggest Spider-Man fan. And I've noticed that whenever someone really likes a character, they should not be the one to write the character.
That is a practice with like current Star Trek. They will not hire you if you say you're a fan of Star Trek. But that's kind of backfired too. I think there's a balance you have to find.
Yeah, like you can't be like Dan Slott's like a nerd about it. Like,
yeah, he was also a big Fantastic Four fan, and his Fantastic Four run it's not great. Now, what's weird though is he did Spider-Man, Human Torch, I'm a Stupid miniseries before he got both those books. It's great.
Yeah,
it's a really good read.
Well, maybe it's one of those things that maybe like if you're a big fan, you got to do it in
your prime.
In your prime, but also in smaller chunks. Like Jeff Johns, his favorite superhero is Green Lantern, and so he invented the color spectrum. He did the Sinestro Corps War. He did Blackest Night. But at the same time, a lot of people say that he was on the book like it was brilliant. And there just came a point where he was just on the book for too long.
And I think with Dan, because I do like Dan Slott, even though he said some stuff that was horrible online. They were kind of working him to death. Like there was multiple Spider-Man issues coming out a month, And I think he just got burnt out, and he didn't want to leave, and he should have left. But then he came back and told a great final story with the Red Goblin. So I think he's got the mojo. It just not every month.
Yeah.
Every once in a while he'll tell a brilliant story like, oh, there it is. There's Dan Slott. And then the rest of the month you're like, oh, okay.
I did like Spider Island more than most people did. I like that.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm a big fan of Superior Spider-Man.
I do like Superior Spider-Man. I begrudgingly like Big Time, even though I don't like what they did to Roderick Kingsley.
Yeah, I can see that.
But on the whole, I like Big Time.
But we're way off track. Fantastic Four, I've read, I think, the first 25 issues, whatever's up to on Marvel Unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only one issue I was kind of like, on. The rest were all great. He made me feel bad for a computer app, which is pretty hard to do. Like, they keep coming get scenarios that are just impossible. How are they going to solve this? And they figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Fantastic Four. This family that's squabbling, but they're doing the impossible month in and month out. It's really cool.
So mine for best in comics is the same thing as Destiny, because I reward for sticking the landing. My Hero Academia ended this year.
Okay, so it's finally over.
Yeah. 10 years, actually, because this actually started in 2014 as well.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people were kind of iffy on the ending, but then he came out with an extra chapter, and it made everything all better. Even before the extra ending, I liked it. Mm-hmm. So I thought he stuck the landing, but especially with the extra ending, it definitely made it all good. So like everyone is basically where you think they're gonna be, which that's the type of book this is. Like this isn't Attack on Titan or anything like that. This is where, like, of course Deku and Ochaku are going to start a relationship. Of course Mirio is going to be the number one hero over Deku. Like, so it's no surprises, but like that's not what this book is.
I have tried multiple times to get into this series, and I get like 1 or 2 chapters in, I'm out every time. I don't know what it is. I'm just kind of like, I'm not feeling this. And
have you tried the anime?
Yeah, I've tried both.
Really?
Maybe one day I will get into it now that it's finished, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Got a lot of other stuff to watch though. So
it's just that like 10 years and you stick the landing, good on you. Cause like there's certain manga that's like, I don't know how they're gonna stick that landing. I mean, like there is a good possibility that One Piece sucks, right?
I know. He's firing on all cylinders right now. 1,000+ chapters in, it is still awesome. Like he has not missed a step.
Really?
If anything, he's getting better. And he doesn't have the best health, so I'm hoping he will stay healthy the next 5 years as he finishes it.
Oh, that's right, because he's been
he doesn't sleep well and he smokes a lot, so
it's been 5 years away from ending for the past 10 years. That's right.
But if you're reading the story, you know that they're like at Elbaf right now, and then we're going into Final War like really soon. And like Luffy has not met up with Shanks really since the beginning of him getting the hat.
Okay.
The guy with the red hair that gave him the hat.
Yeah.
And spoilers for One Piece, if you're not reading it, Shanks has showed up on Elbaf, but we don't think it's really Shanks. We think he may have a twin brother, which is kind of lame, the evil twin brother thing.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting that Luffy, he's going to be facing off against somebody that has the face of the person he loves more than anything, his hero.
And you see, whenever you do that in the MCU, that doesn't interest me.
Right. This is. I mean, we are literally at the very beginning of the story. I don't know how he's gonna. So I mean, if Oda's gonna misstep, this could be it.
Mhm.
But we are so close to the end, and
What if it really is just a treasure chest?
it's not. I'm almost positive it's going to be the idea of bringing all the lands together into one piece, whereby it would be like they'll reunite all the kingdoms.
Literally or like figuratively?
Probably literally, because the big bad emu controls the water levels.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
There's a name for it, right? Because there's actually a theory that the Earth actually was Pangea. Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, and I keep thinking about there's going to be a flashback at the very end where we see all the adventures they've gone through to get here. All the scenes is I'm just going to break down. It's going to be epic.
Like it's going to have a Matchbox 20 in the background.
Yeah. It's
let's see how far we've come.
So I didn't list One Piece. One Piece is always
near
and dear to my heart. I don't talk about a whole lot on the show.
Yeah. If My Hero hadn't ended this year, I probably would have said like Absolute Batman.
Okay.
But like I said, I give extra points for sticking the landing.
Okay.